Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the podcast and the YouTube channel. Today, Turkish soccer. Man, I try to say that without laughing, but I mean, I'm sure the sport's fantastic, but DraftKings just added Turkish soccer, and they're expected to add Russian soccer, and who knows how long this is going to last. But thankfully, since I built a Mexican soccer model over the weekend, it uses the exact same database as Turkish soccer and Russian soccer, so it was the click of a few buttons putting in these salaries for Turkish soccer, and bam, everything you see on the screen populated. About 20 minutes after they announced that DraftKings was going to have Turkish soccer, I realized that, clicked a few buttons, and was very excited to finally see for once that something went my way over the past 5 days of all these sports. So pretty cool. It's a 1 p.m. showdown slate today, so 1 p.m. Eastern time. I imagine a lot of people won't see this video in time, so I imagine the viewership's not going to do that great. I'll be having the Turkish soccer models and then interest over on Patreon. Again, that is not me trying to tout for you to go buy the Patreon. It's just me notifying the current patrons that this is another perk that's going to be there as I try and unravel as many perks as possible. League of Legends data will be going out over there as well today. Not too sure if I'll be doing any YouTube content on that, at least for the next few days, but with that said, we'll have this right here, Showdown Slate. And the wild part is it's already $20,000 to first. Like, it's a Showdown Slate for Turkish soccer at a 1 p.m. in the afternoon. That's how much DraftKings needs to get action down. And it's probably going to fill. Like, they were so close to filling yesterday, a ton of contests, and that was just yesterday. Like, the contests are already, if I look at it right now, filling pretty quickly. So if you're new here, there's a really good chance a lot of you watching this and a lot of you watching some future videos I'm going to find my content just because I'm the only person making a video on Turkish soccer. And if I'm not, I'm one of the only people. And just because it's one of the only sports that's currently in the lobby. I'm going to pull up the lobby right now. They have... So their $20,000 to first already has 5,200 out of 7,000 people in it. So this thing's already almost filled up by the time you're seeing it. So there's a lot of other contests as well. It's only going to get bigger. Like League of Legends, Russian soccer, Turkish soccer are the only things currently in the lobby. I imagine new sports modes will come out. Just did a podcast, and that'll be out later this week, and a little bit of different episodes about that with Matt Jajeski. I believe I got that right there in the first try. But with that being said, welcome if you're brand new here. We're going to do a brief breakdown. Again, if you're new to soccer, I made a Mexican soccer video a couple days ago. Talk about some of the things that are important there. I'll kind of highlight them in this one for soccer DFS. But I also have been making on the Patreon how to play specific sports. So, for instance, soccer, NASCAR, MMA, League of Legends, all that stuff. And I'll be having some mini series as well over there in terms of just how to play the specific sports, 3 to 5 episodes on the important details. But some high-level stuff has already been released. With that said, what you want to look for in soccer is, the green things on this sheet for the most part. You want players to be starting. You can find starting soccer news on a lot of different sites. Once you start to get to some of these little or lesser known leagues and lesser reported on leagues, it becomes a little bit tougher, especially when you have to translate tweets from different languages for some of these guys. But I know that sites like RotoWire have been doing soccer lineups for a lot of different leagues. There's spots that you'll be able to find for the starting lineups. And really, you only want to start people who are starting. I do have the amount of starts in column L in the blue on my sheet here. You only want to start people who are starting, so there's some guys on there that only have 2 and 3 starts. I deleted the people who have no start, have 1 start, and have 2 starts. The only person that I left on here who has 2 starts is somebody who, when healthy, will be likely playing or potentially starting. So before we get into it, my name is Sal Vetri. If you could hit the subscribe button in a time where I'm making Turkish soccer videos, and a week ago I would have never even told you that I knew that Turkish soccer existed, but if you could hit the subscribe button, I really do appreciate it on the YouTube channel, especially if you're listening over on the podcast, and the notification bell. You can check out my Patreon exclusive content if you're indeed interested. Again, not trying to tout or sell you anything during these times, but there is going to be content going up there. If you are looking for more of it, it'll be a little bit more in-depth than what we do here for these sports in terms of just identifying interests, answering any questions, and there's going to be more podcast content, more models, things like that over there if you are interested. Today's video is sponsored by Fantasy Draft, who is hopefully any day now going to release some new alternative formats. I've been trying to talk to them and in contact with them about helping out with that, so we'll see if that goes well over the next few days, but I'll link up their lobby down below. Currently no game modes, but if you're interested in just checking out what they have to offer once it does come back and what the site kind of plays through, they do have rake-free DFS. Again, for my Mexican soccer video, the disclaimer was these guys, I don't think 99.9% of you watching this have never watched a game to hear these names called. So a lot of these names are going to be extremely, extremely difficult to say. I'll probably try and go with the first name. I'll probably just reference their salary a lot. I apologize too, again, the people in their families and people who actually are very good at playing Turkish soccer and watch it. I'm just don't want to butcher names on here because some of these names are real doozies, honestly, for me. So With that said, I'm just looking at this right now. All the way up at the top, Gerler is somebody who did not play in the last game. Now, DraftKings is going to be just like us in terms of trying to find injury sources, and maybe later today we'll get it. But just keep an eye on starting lineups. They'll probably come out around noon today. But Gerler did not play in the last game, so I have him highlighted in yellow. I'm going to be keeping an eye out for other players like that later in the day. So what you want to look for is just players who are starting. So in column L, I have people who are starting, a couple of people, and probably a good handful of these guys, like 8 to 10, have started 20-plus games or 18-plus games. So they're probably the starters, but always keep an eye on that. Obviously, the upside is going to come from goals and assists. That's in columns P and Q. But those things are more so, they don't happen every single time. I mean, you have 6 goals as the highest goal scorer on the sheet. That's Girl, who's out. And he has 22 starts, which is pretty much the highest right there on the sheet as well, or one of the highest. So he's scoring like one every 4 times out there, and he's one of the best players and the highest priced player on the sheet. So it's not that easy. You pick up other points from just your shot attempts and your shot attempts on goal. So that's in columns W and X. You pick up more points from tackles won, fouls drawn, and interceptions. That's in AC, AD, and AE. So all these things in green. Another big one is going to be your crosses. Crosses pick up 0.7 points. Set pieces you also get points on as well, especially if there's shots that are assisted on the other side of those. So crosses are important. You can just pick up a bunch of points if you're not scoring. A lot of these games are going to have 1 or 2 goals in them. So it's not like everybody's going to have that goal, and sometimes there's one goal and it's a 1-0 split. So with that said, that's where I'm at right now with this. The goalies and all that information I'll be having on a separate sheet later today, and probably not for the showdown, but in separate sheets moving forwards. I'll split it up by just each and every single position that you have to roster in DFS soccer: forwards, your middies, your defenders, goalies, all that type of stuff. So just looking down through this, Boljan at 11,800, 22 starts so far, likely to start today. Just keep an eye on it. Also a high scorer, 4 goals, 2 assists, and you have the 2 penalty attempts, which also brings you some points. And when you look across some of the stuff here, it's nice to see that just shot attempts per 90, you're getting 2.4. That's a good amount of points. And crosses per 90, you're getting 4.95. 4.95 is the second highest on this one game slate. You're picking up a lot of options in terms of points there, and 57 fouls drawn. So drawing about 2.5 fouls per contest, that's pretty good. You do get a point for fouls drawn. I would say that your downsides right now is just the price point if you really want to fit it in, and peripherals in terms of picking up points from a interceptions and tackles standpoint. But I think there's a lot of upside there. You do have the bailout options if you're not getting a goal in this game, which again, 4 goals in 22 games, you're going to get one once out of every 5 or 6 games. So it's not something that's going to happen all that frequently. My alarms are just going off right here. Let me turn this last one off. All right. Some other people to look at. Semidio, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Also just 4 goals, somebody who has some upside there. It has started about 16 games, so you do want to keep a close eye on this one. There's been somewhere around like the 25 game mark so far. I think it's actually 27, I believe. Somewhere up there. The way that they conduct their matches is by the number of matches. And I believe the Turkish Soccer League is like almost over. I think there's like, I don't know, maybe not, maybe I'm wrong. I think there's like a week break at least in a week or so. But you get 1.84 shots on goal during this time. You do get a decent points per 90. It's nothing fantastic. You're just hoping for some of the shots on goal there at an elevated number. You're hoping that your 2 crosses per is going to be enough for you. Other players, Sonair, who fits that bill at 8,400, you're going to get a lot of minutes. You're going to probably get a start here. Has the most assists on the sheet at 6. Also has a decent amount of goals at 3. You do get some tackles won in there at 29. The 29 tackles won is second most on the slate at a $8,400 price tag. So decent upside there as well. So that's just a couple of players at sort of the top end. So Nair, Samu Dio, so 8,400, 9,400. And then some of the top end guys. Like everything above 10,000 is going to be fine today. Gerler, as long as he plays, will also be fine as well. Now going towards some of the middle stuff and closer to the bottom, you want to look for, so position-wise, and you don't really need that today for Showdown, but in the future on these Turkish soccer videos and Russian soccer and any soccer, if you just want to play for the long term, you want to look for players who are going to be involved in crosses, are going to be involved in set pieces. So some of your center backs, a lot of your outside mids, those are the type of players, your wings, if you will. Those are the type of players that you want to have. Not only do they have upside in terms of set pieces, crosses, but then they have the upside in assists. And a lot of these players will take their just set piece shots. If you've ever just seen, not so much a penalty kick, but something above the box, somewhere around there. If there is a foul drawn outside the box, they'll take those set piece shots, which if it's at least a shot, you get a point for. If it's a shot on goal, you get more points for. And then also, obviously, if it's going in, anything like that, you hit the whole nuts, you get 10 points for the goal. So going down a little bit more, Dario down here at 5,800 has started 25 games, the most on this slate. Pretty much just playing a ton of minutes at this point, playing the entire game that he starts. So a machine from what the data is telling me. 45 interceptions right now leads this slate. If you just go across a little bit more, you can see that you do pick up some peripherals in the tackles one department. You do pick up some upside in terms of 3 goals and an assist. It's more so that you're just going to be getting nitpicky points out of him. 2.28 crosses per start. That doesn't sound like a high number, but it's still like the 6th highest on the slate, and a price point of 5,800. Has been starting a ton, playing a ton of minutes, and just going to nitpick you points here and there at a cheaper price point. That does stand out. There's not much below 5,800 though. Like below 5,800, just upside wise, not much. Durkic stands out just in terms of fouls drawn, but no goals, no upside in terms of that. Barely doing anything from a crossing department. Like I don't want to be rostering players that have no set piece upside, and if they don't have any set piece upside, I want to at least get an out by them scoring a goal or having an assist. And pretty much every single player below this 5,800 mark, besides like 2 of them, don't have a single goal, don't have a single assist, and it gets really difficult. And none of them are really sending in crosses. Most of them haven't even sent a single cross or set piece yet. So yeah, it doesn't look that great. The most crosses below 5,800 is in 9 starts is Poco at 7. Like that's just not going to get it done, and that's the most. Some of these guys have none, some have 1. So below 5,800 I'm probably going to be staying away from, unless you get like a surprise start. Players down here who haven't been starting all that much, but even then they haven't been productive when they have been out there. So 5,800 is sort of the bottom floor for me right now. You can just try and track the lineups around RotoWire. I'll be making these, and they'll be more just in depth and easier to work through. I'll be adding my interests like I usually do and my notes over to Patreon later today. It's a 1 p.m. start, so I'll be doing that pretty soon. Other things that I have in the works, the League of Legends database, that is quickly coming to a finish. I have all the 2020 data. I actually have all the data, but in terms of presenting it in a YouTube format and something that's easy to digest, I only have the 2020 data presentable. I might actually make a video on that today just using the 2020 data, which isn't the best, but it's also the most recent. I have 2019 and 2018 data that I'm going to be incorporating as well. Just have to work through that later today. So there's a chance that I make a League of Legends video. The games usually aren't until the early morning, like 2 a.m. on Wednesday, so a long time from now because they're playing overseas. So that might be coming out today, but if not, there'll be data for Patrons. This will be up on Patreon with interest before the slate starts. Hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Reach out to me via Twitter. Be sure to follow me over there. And please, if you got any value from this, if you appreciate the work that's being done in some of these alternative niche sports, please do hit the subscribe button over here on the YouTube channel and the notification bell. The thing that would be the best out of all this time of uncertainty and doubt, especially for a content creator in the sports space, would be getting to 20,000 subscribers. Something of just it feels like I'm pushing a rock up a hill at this point, but hopefully that we can get there. Hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Other stuff that's going to be coming out, the Super Draft, Super Sim projections. I'll be talking about those on air in a video right after this. Super Draft, that's going to lock later tonight. Had a ton of people in their contest last night, about 10,000 or so. So I'm excited to see them hopefully get an actual NBA game sim up so I can start to do some commentary. That would be awesome on that. But with that being said, you can check out that video. You can check out this one. Going to be doing some season-long NFL content. But until now, I appreciate you all tuning in. See anything down below in the description, some free giveaways, some promotional offers. Thank you so much for tuning into this one. I hope you enjoy the start to your day, the start to your week. Stay safe and healthy out there, everybody. Peace out, gang. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed that video. Above my head, if you're not already subscribed to this channel, I do ask you if you can please hit that subscribe button. Helps me out a good amount to reach more people. You can also follow me on Twitter. That's over there. Right in the corner is my @SalVetriDFS Twitter. And then above, you'll find my Patreon link. You can click on that if you want more exclusive content for me. Or a video is going to pop up, so why don't you check that one out as well. I think it's going to be beneficial for you. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.